It's not easy to get around CES, but it's really difficult if you can't walk. Michele, Sasha, we're talking about accessibility.
Yeah.
And Alan has known you for a while, Michele. And so, Alan, why don't you start?
Well, I think the opportunity of autonomy is to provide mobility, and to whom should we be providing mobility? It's for all the people that have been left behind by the great mobility systems that some of us who happen to have, enough money and a good enough body and a good enough brain to be able to out there and do it for ourselves. Okay, the only reason why we all have cars is because it's so inexpensive, because we don't charge ourselves. A few of us could have a chauffeur, a few of them, not me, but whatever. But then there's a substantial number of people who've been left behind by this, who don't have that kind of mobility, the mobility that is there sitting, waiting for you to take you from where you are to where you want to go, or very close to from where you are to very close to where you want to go. And so talk to us, please, Michele.
Well, I want to talk about autonomy, but first, let's talk about some of the challenges. And Sasha, we were talking offline. I don't know how much you want to get into it, but the challenges you saw around 2008, 2009 in New York City.
So I became disabled a little more than 13 years ago. I was walking in Central Park, and just when I was walking beneath it, a giant dead tree branch snapped off of a tree and fell on my head. And I had a spinal cord injury, and came to learn I would be needing a wheelchair to get around. And I thought, wow, I'm the New York that I grew up in. I guess I'm not taking the subway anymore, because nobody in wheelchairs takes the subway. That's not for us. That's not for those people. I guess I need to find a new way to do things. But I was wrong, because once I started being able to get around more independently, I went to Boston in 2013. And a friend of mine said, come meet me over at Harvard Yard. You can take the train over there. And I said, Jenny, did you forget I'm in a wheelchair? And she said, no, I think they all pretty much have elevators. I said, what? Really? Okay, I'll try. And I remember taking the elevator down to Kendall Square. And I remember got down there. I said to the attendant, do all the stations have elevators? And she said, yeah, pretty much. And this is a moment that I've had many times since then, where I said, for 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes. Wow, I can't believe they built that. And then pretty soon I said, why the heck haven't we done that in New York? Because it's not rocket science. It's just a matter of who you try to include, and who you think needs it, who you think deserves it, and who's in the picture, and who's on your radar. And I realized that the reason I thought people in wheelchairs don't take the train, because I never saw them there, and I never saw them because they couldn't. And I have a good friend of mine in this, and mentor, said, Sasha, if you go to a city and you don't see anybody in a wheelchair, it doesn't mean they're not there. It means they're stuck at home, or they're stuck in the hospital, and they're not able to get out. And ultimately, that's a loss for everyone. A loss for that person, but also for their family that can't, go with them to dinner. A loss for their place where they might be employed, so they can't contribute to the economy. It's just a loss for the entire city, and ultimately for the city itself, because people with disabilities can't go there, but also older adults won't retire there. Young families with strollers won't settle there. Companies that have deliveries, tourists with luggage, all of us. And if I can do a big reveal.
Big reveal.
That's why we started the Elevators Are For Everyone. This really is a group that we started in New York, and ultimately started a class action and told the MTA, you got to fix this, because elevators are for everyone, and this is wrong.
Elevators are magic words to Alan, but we won't go there right now. Michele, you touching upon what he's talking about is designing for accessibility from day zero.
So I work at Cruise, and we are a self-driving car company, and it's accessibility and inclusivity is core to our mission, and that's why I'm really proud to work here. And it's we are designing self-driving cars with GM, and we have a purpose-built vehicle called the Origin, and we're also doing a purpose-built wheelchair accessible autonomous vehicle. And it makes me so happy to say it, because like Sasha, I became disabled 20 years ago, and I didn't have to think about using a wheelchair or getting around in differently. And it's really hard. It's not easy. Just even navigating CES, navigating Las Vegas has been a real challenge. And like, I don't know how I'm gonna get back to my hotel right now. Like, I don't know. Like, it could be a shuttle, it could be a monorail, it could, I don't, I have, the accessibility is just not, it's not there. Like, it's not equal. And so working at Cruise and being able to solve this problem for so many people, like 1 in 4 Americans identifies with it as having a disability. 1 in 4. That number is growing. We're all getting older. We're all going to be experiencing, mobility challenges at some point in our life, and we need this. We need this.
And so both were on a panel today. What were some of the takeaways, or what were the reactions of the people who are listening?
Well, I would just say, this is a big market, right? There's a lot of money here that if we're overlooking this population, we're like losing out on a huge money-making opportunity. This is a lot of people who can really contribute to society. Like, I have money to spend. I want to go to restaurants. I want to go visit New York City. I want to visit Allen. Can I visit Allen? I don't know. Is there wheelchair accessible transportation there? I have no idea. And like, it shouldn't be a question mark. It should just be, yes, there is. And at Cruise, we're hoping to solve that.
And Michele made a really good point at that panel, which is, please build this. This will help us and will help the many people around the world with the disability. This is the next billion users. But you're not. We're grateful and we're thankful, but guess what? You're not just helping us. You're helping your future self, because this is a group that anybody can join on any day. You don't sign up for it, but we're all going that way. We'll all become disabled at some point. That's, if you're lucky, you become disabled, but you're still able enough. You're still a going concern. And I feel so grateful for that. And after this happened to me, I realized, oh, of course, all these people were already fighting this fight. And I'm so grateful to them for having stood up for our rights and having passed ADA. And if you get to watch CripCamp, watch it and see how bad those people were, who camped out in the city government building and who crawled up the Capitol steps to demand their rights. And that made things accessible enough so that me and Michele at least have the ADA shuttle and at least are able to get it on at some subway stations. But damn it, it's got to be better. And that's why we're working at places like Cruise to say every car should just have a ramp. Why the f- not? I mean, you can walk up that ramp if you can, or you can wheel up it. And let's not say, oh, we think there's an accessible shuttle over at the other hotel. Yeah, we can get it over here. And everyone else is getting in the same, like each car that comes up. I mean, today at CES, where they're building, literal rocket science, we went over to the Tesla Loop, and the Teslas were popping up, coming up. Yep. And they said, oh, for you guys, we think there's a car over at the other place. And it's like, are you shitting me?
And guess what we got? Dodge Caravan, which is great. Love a Dodge, but that wasn't a Tesla,
And it didn't go through the tunnel, did it?
There was no tunnel. I didn't even know there was a tunnel. What tunnel?
There was no, it got us there and we're grateful for that, but it's like, this is not a good look for you. And this is a market, guys. Like, you want these people to come. And, if my kids were here with me, they'd be embarrassed and upset. And so would I. Me and Michele can laugh about it, but let's get this right.
Alan?
Well, yeah, I haven't taken the tunnel yet, but we were told last night. I thought I was watching on a board the fact that there were wheelchair accessible vehicles running in the tunnel.
I would love to see that as well. I would love to see it. So
I think the distinction though is they're on external. The platforms are external, the ones that they're running, and so they do have them, but you can't use them.
This is not the right way for the system to start. Yeah. It has 4 stations now or something like that. They're looking
yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're looking to expand it, and they can't start this way. It has to be inclusive from the beginning.
Yes, it has to be inclusive
now,
from the beginning.
I think, whether or not it's every vehicle can accept whatever, I don't know that you would request that. But with respect to having, certainly enough of them so that the level of service is essentially the same, and to be able to not be an embarrassment.
Same level of service would be great. Yeah.
Right.
What was that?
I would love equal service. Equal service is amazing. if I can get in a car and that other person can get in a car at the same time, amazing. Like I would love that. Have same experience, amazing.
Yeah, so I think, I'm sure that what GM Cruise is doing with the Orion vehicle, right, is to make sure that if it's from a clean sheet of paper, it's not that much. Probably the reason there aren't elevators at every New York City transit station is darn thing was built 100 years ago. For whatever reason, retrofitting is tough. But if you do it from the beginning, then to make it accessible is like a trivial design change. I mean, the incremental cost of doing that is epsilon. The delivered value is infinite. I mean, do it.
Well, with that, I think it's getting kind of late, and my knees are giving out. So I appreciate everyone's time. Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you for this chat, and also I'm glad that we're getting the word out about accessibility more, and that's what's important, right? Raising the awareness and just understanding that we're here and we're not going away. The disabled population community is here. We're the largest minority out there that anyone can join at any time, and so please let's do this and let's make things more accessible and more inclusive.
Excellent.
And the delivery of accessibility is a delivery of improved quality of life, and the quality of life improvement is enormous compared to the incremental cost to do it, especially when you're starting anew. And that to me, that's what's so important with now the driverless opportunity. It can come to you, it can take you to where you want. Make it so you can get in and you're comfortable and get out.
Great.
And if I might,
Oh, yeah.
elevators are for everyone. It's a simple message. I mean, I feel like this kind of encapsulates it. Right? Build it for wheelchairs, sure. And look who else is going to benefit.
Yeah.
All these people, the tourists, the deliveries, the parents with strollers. We can do this. And it's a great sticker to put on your laptop.
I think Alan needs it on his jacket.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Or your jacket.
I think we can, hey,